Drawing from the holy grail of investing, how are you using GP stake buying strategies to solve the operational capital gap that stops most emerging fund managers in their track?
Love that. Love that question. Very, very niche and specific. So, one of the things that we have always been just really focused is building our own portfolio. And so, when you do that, you're investing for yourself, right? It's a whole completely different game when you go into investing with a fund or syndication or a group of people. So we've invested over $1 million of our own capital, into our own deals over the last 8 years. And today, having our fund, right, we're always finding ways to put in some of that skin in the game, right? For example, our first fund is putting in cash. Our second fund, we're putting in equity, over $1 million in equity from the GP side for for the specific deal as we buy, right? We buy some of these assets, right? So, and that's it's something that I feel it's very, very important. And the struggle here isn't let's get the cash and put it in and get the returns. Is the struggle here is how do you build your company while investing alongside, right, your investors and not run out of cash as a general partner. That's the struggle, right? Because a lot of the payoff of when you're a fund manager or a syndicator comes with time. It comes with
Right.
the exits, right? So the little fees that, fund managers get are very little compared to, right, what you would say if you're running a service-based business for say, right? So, and they take a while. So there's a big difference there. And so the focus is figuring out and being creative of how to invest alongside your investors for alignment, as well as willing to deliver as much value as you can, right? When doing that, right? That's the struggle. And I've seen a few ways to solve that. And I don't know if you've ever heard Bridger talk about GP stakes, right? So one way
Yes.
to do that is to have a GP stake partner, right? So we
Yes.
haven't made it there yet. We can get into the specifics if you want, but a GP stake partner essentially would come in and buy a piece of your general partner. Simply
Yes.
put in infusion and operations capital. That capital partially gets invested into operations and the rest gets invested into deals, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but yeah, that's
Yes.
a little bit of a
And so you heard it from Bridger, but funny enough, Bridger, Tony Robbins had provided us with the Holy Grail of investing. That's what I was
yeah.
talking about. And at that event, and in the book, he talks about how advantageous it is for an investor to buy into that GP stake. So, for one, it helps keep operations going. And for two, now that investor isn't just an LP waiting on specific funds, but they're able to get a piece of the 2 points that the fund makes and whatever the fees are for acquisition fees and underwriting fees, whatever the fees are that the fund has in there. So I haven't heard Bridger, but I read it in Holy Grail of Investing. And I think we're alike in that respect.